Ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat. The slaughter is in motion. Welcome to Celluloid Slaughter with your hosts, James and Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Jim?
Mr. Joseph, don't you think it's time we finally have a league of our own?
No.
Hey, guys, welcome to the Celluloid Slaughter podcast where we talk about... Oh, wait, I was about to do the podcast for the intro for the other podcast. We just talk about bad movies.
How dare you?
I got in the mindset because we were talking about it. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do the intro. And I'm like, wait, I never do that one. We watched Justice League this week. And no, not Zack Snyder's Justice League. Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Jim, it's fair to say we didn't see it.
We watched 60 minutes, but saying that we watched it is also hard to say.
I put a timer on. I told myself I'm not going to watch more than an hour of this.
But we kept having to pause for stuff, so your timer was constantly off, and you're like, only 5 more minutes. I'm like, Joe, there's like 20 minutes left.
All right, we had to go by the runtime then. And honestly, if there's only one scene I could watch in that movie, we didn't get to it. It's when Superman is at the park, whatever. And
I'm pretty sure that scene's not even accurate to what happens, though.
Okay. Well, that scene I liked the most.
Do you like the "you won't let me live, you won't let me die, what will you let me do? Tell me, do you bleed?" Do you like that he says that to Batman?
I don't really care. I didn't like Batman vs Superman. Most of the dialogue in that seemed hokey when it came to those two when they're like dueling, when they were in their costumes compared to when they were when they were like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne talking. That dialogue was good.
I mean, I still like... I know that people are upset that the fight scene between Batman and Superman didn't last longer. And that they had wished it was more like the Dark Knight Returns, like animated films in the comic.
Right.
Then to that, I have to say, well, it actually lasted about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
If you cut out all the scenes of Green Arrow running across the rooftop.
Things cost money.
Yeah, things cost money, but we did get some pretty good action nonetheless. Like, fucking... them like going through all the walls and everything. This giant like building that they're just crashing through constantly. Why are we talking about Batman vs Superman? We're supposed to be talking about Justice League.
I wasn't talking, Jim. You were.
No, but you got me into the topic because you were talking about the hokey dialogue.
I was saying negative things.
I know, but
and
then
somehow you spun that into like, oh.
Yeah, but I'm like, the action's good though. In those scenes that you dislike the dialogue, I'm like,
I feel like the action is really disconnecting when it comes to most of the superhero stuff. It's like, especially with the Vision fight.
Oh my god! Don't give me.
But that was the sole purpose. The sole purpose was it was disconnecting because they're perfectly matched.
They tried to do a scene in WandaVision where it was like a match cut of CGI to practical, and it just kind of reminded me of like the Batman vs Superman where it's like Superman flying in and it's like a CGI thing, and then it comes up to the real Henry Cavill as he's like doing the heat vision, then he stops and like flies off, and it was that with Vision when he like flies up, like throws the white Vision to the ground and then tosses him into the thing and shows him like flying, and then it's like a very blurry shot, then he cuts around and it's like that's the practical, and I'm like they kind of didn't do it right though, because it was like it's blurry, now it's in focus.
Well, I'm mainly I'm happy that we're past the days of Matrix Reloaded CGI with the whole pole park scene where there's a million Agent Smiths. We're past that.
Yes, we have moved past that.
And it's not much better, but it's not as disconnecting compared.
You know, WandaVision, it has good CGI for what it is, and it's got like some great CGI in it at points.
Yeah.
And then it's like at times it's like I didn't realize that they didn't put the actual like Vision cap on him when he was doing most of the scenes where he had like his face red and everything. It was just that his face was painted a color and then they just CG'd over that. And so it's extremely horrifying when you look at behind the scenes and it's like him in the black and white where they painted his face blue. Just Paul Bentley, like a completely blue face, just smiling like a crazy person.
And yet again, we've avoided talking about Justice League.
We have.
I didn't care for this movie at all. I originally saw it in theaters, I think.
I saw it opening day.
Ugh.
Like, I had convinced Dad, because it was like a school night and everything. I'm like, can I please go out and watch this film? Can I, like, go see this? Please, please. Like, I was just like, And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck yeah. I got Jalen to drive me to go there and everything. It was my first time going to see like a midnight premiere on my own. I bought my like own ticket and everything. I was so excited. And I go and see it, and I'm like kind of just like, it hadn't even kicked to me that this wasn't like a movie that was actually directed by the person I thought it was. And it was like, as I was going through it, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like the whole movie, I just kept thinking, this is neat, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like what should be following up the previous two films.
You know, Jim, I'm sad to hear that you missed out on what true midnight movie experiences were like before
when
all
it was
of this.
really midnight.
Yes.
I think the closest I got was when you took me to see Prometheus.
Prometheus was the last great event I can think of. Like, I don't care. The movie was bad, yes, but initially watching it was.
Oh, it was amazing.
It's really groundbreaking. Like the 3D IMAX technology that we could see. Like that was. I love that. But looking back on it, sure, there's plot holes, and it's not a great movie, but I still love it.
It's a good movie for what it is. And it sort of like tries to be like, okay, here's tech that doesn't look like it's like super futuristic. Like when Walter was or David? Fuck, I don't remember which one's which. David was talking to the Mr. Fucking whoever the old guy was when he's like
Whedon.
in the pod. Whedon. When he's talking to Whedon, he's got the headset on. Like that looks like something from the original Aliens movie. The way that headset looks, it's got like the completely just milked out visor and everything.
I wish there was more what do you call it? Cassette futurism in this Prometheus. That like there
80s
was
future.
Yeah, where you have like the
where it's just 80s tech but future.
But you like do a little bit of like an upgrade to it, you know? Make it look like it's old school and new school at the same time.
Oh, that's my favorite thing about the original Total Recall is that it's like, oh, this is the future, but it looks like the 80s, and you can tell because everyone's still using
I love it.
CRTV.
I love that stuff, yeah.
Everyone's got the small square TV that I used to have.
Imagine if we had a futuristic movie come out now where they did something like that.
Oh, I fucking love it.
There was a show on Netflix called Maniac with Emma Stone and Jonah Hill. And that was the whole aesthetic of the whole show, was this cassette futurism. And that was so mind-boggling, like how they built the world. I loved it. You just get sucked in. The show's conclusion was kind of iffy. If I don't remember if I fully loved the ending, but following the story along the way and the whole hair acting and glasses of the different characters inside things.
I'm going to admit something to you, Joe. You put it on for me a while ago, and I have never gone through the first episode.
What?
Just something about it just made me like just have to turn it off. And I'm going to say it was probably Jonah Hill. I'm not a fan of him.
Jim, you have to watch it. Each of the like starting episodes rephrases phrases the whole situation from a different perspective, and a whole new understanding is applied. Then after the second episode, there's a whole new perspective and a whole new understanding of the situation at hand, and it just keeps doing that to you, where you're pulled into the situation and you're looking at it from all different points of view over and over and over. It kind of had like, it felt like this kind of like Inception type like layering vibe, but now with like, it kind of has dreams applied to it. And then there's a whole Inception like sequence where they're like going through like, I don't want to spoil it all.
Hey Joe, did you realize how we stopped talking about Justice League again the moment
I
that we
don't
got the
want
opportunity?
to talk about
we
Justice
have to talk about it though, because
We
there are
did.
issues with it that need to be brought up, like, hey, Joss Whedon's a piece of shit.
Well, I've always had that opinion.
You always had that opinion. I wasn't aware that he directed like Alien 3. I wasn't aware of like all the
He
controversies.
wrote the script for Alien Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection, that's
And,
what it was. Not Alien 3. Alien Resurrection.
Alien 3 is...
a whole piece of garbage on its own.
It's a bad movie, but it has like a little bit of charm. But
It's got an idea that's good.
I hate
but it just
how
isn't
muted
executed.
it feels. Like the world that you built in the second one, as much as I'm not a huge fan of the second one, I love the first one. The second one is good. Everyone thinks it's better.
People think it's better because it's more shoot. It's no longer like a horror film. It's like we turn the tides, but then immediately that changes as well.
But I like the comparison when it comes to Alien and Aliens with Terminator and Terminator 2. Both of those are by Cameron.
Right.
And how the first one is a straight slasher cyber horror. And I just love the idea of that. and then he turned it on its head into a cyber action film, which works just as good, if not better.
I brought this up when I rewatched it, that when watching it, if you had watched it for the first time, you wouldn't have realized that Liquid Metal was a Terminator because of how they played the scene of him just like appearing. They never gave any like indications of him being like do like being like all robotic.
You think he's like human or something,
human
right?
With how he was moving and acting and everything.
Just like Kyle Reese in the first one.
Right, and like the whole time you think he's trying to get John Connor to save him and everything, and then the moment that he gets in the hallway and he just pulls out the gun, just starts fucking unloading, you're like, wait, are they trying to kill John Connor? No. Liquid Metal.
I want to see that movie for the first time again.
That is a shame that I'll never be able to see it for the first time, because I had gotten the fact that he was Liquid Metal like spoiled for me way before I ever saw it, because it was like that was already a fact. Everyone had like a toy of it and everything. I'm like, oh.
I remember watching it on VHS for the first time. It was like
lucky,
and I want that feeling again.
Man, I want the
nowadays
feeling watching a VHS again.
Yeah, well, nowadays like trailers for old movies that you haven't seen are spoiling everything, or like clips of videos and things.
Right.
But yeah, to go back and like watch an old VHS or in theaters for the first time.
Dude, I want to watch The Iron Giant for the first time again.
On VHS?
On VHS. I remember every time we'd go over the Nanas for New Year's and everything, we'd spend the night, it would always be like, hey, what are we going to watch? Iron Giant, right away. That would be the VHS that we pull out, we put in, we watch that first, then we do anything else.
That guy's a great director. Went on, Brad Bird, he went on to do Incredibles. He went in and did Mission Impossible 4.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Then he did Tomorrowland. I didn't watch that one.
That's not a good
one. I didn't watch it. I wanted to watch it up to a point when it came out, and that's once it came out, I was like, you know what?
It was like when Percy Jackson was coming out. You're like, these trailers look awesome. And then you watch the movie, and it's like, the trailers lied to me.
I was like, there's something strange about it because they had to retitle it and everything. I was like, I don't know. It was like this whole atom punk futurism.
Right.
That, these guys they were born in the 50s or whatever. They're like nostalgic for.
I want my 50s future. Where everyone's driving hover cars that still look like 50s cars.
Yes.
Tony Stark's hover car.
Segueing onto a futuristic movie, Jim. We saw a couple...
We gotta finish talking about Justice League.
We have.
No, we haven't. We have not.
I don't care for most of the DC stuff, Jim.
We don't care for Justice League.
It's garbage, most of it.
I will not agree that
I am not a Zack Snyder hater, but I will say that the DC Snyder movies, they don't really do it for me.
No, it's completely understandable. Everyone has their own taste and everything, but nobody should like.
Everyone has their shit takes like you, but
I didn't say that. Now hold on.
Half of Man of Steel is good. First half.
Now hold on. That's not what I said.
Batman vs Superman. There's like 5-10 minutes. Sure, they're good.
But we both agree that Justice League is horrible.
Yeah.
But we disagree on what scene is the good scene in it.
What's your favorite scene?
I think that would be a question I would have to think about, because there's so much of that I really dislike. But I think it would be like sort of the end fight scene between them and Steppenwolf, but it's like not for like the whole scene. It's like for little bits in it. It's like, I hate the moment when Superman and like Cyborg are like, I can't feel my toes. I don't even have the toe. It's like, that's...
It's a cartoon.
Right.
And I don't like...
It changes it from like the tone that it has that we've been seeing with the trailers coming out for Zack Snyder's Justice League. It changes it from that tone into something stupid and goofy. To like a cartoon that it's not. And it's like, look, everyone already has the Justice League Unlimited in the original Justice League cartoon. If you want that Justice League, go there for that. If you want that Batman, go there for that. But these aren't that. Don't try to force them into it when they've already been created into something that's supposed to be a dark and gritty retelling of those stories. This is a Batman who has lost literally everything but Alfred. Like, that is all he has left when you really look at it. He's got, like, Jim Gordon, but they haven't, like, defined a relationship between them.
Well, the problem is that you never define it, like, structurally in a movie of its own.
Right.
And
it would have been nice to get a solo movie, but it was also like it is a kind of cool introduction that like our motivation is like seeing him like from the human perspective of what was happening in Man of Steel. The actual
wouldn't it have made sense after Batman vs Superman you get a prequel movie with Batman?
That would have been cool. I agree. Yes.
Man of Steel,
and
where
then,
you get to see
where he doesn't have like the white in his hair and everything. It's a younger Batman. You get to see sorta.
Something 10 years, a course of 10 years or 5 years where he isn't as hardened and there's things.
He has Robin still.
He's Batman for many years, but then he loses everything.
He gets Robin. He has this kid that he's been taking care of. It's his best friend.
A climax where his mansion is burned down. You know, like
that would have been really nice.
It would have been kind of grounded too.
Oh, that would have been like an awesome ending for it to just be like an ending where he just literally loses everything. Like Robin dies and like Alfred like calls him like Master Wayne, you're home.
So with the Joker, I don't know if I would have liked to have Jared Leto play
at the time
Suicide Squad.
I'm glad that we're kind of straying away and we're like, the tattoos.
Yeah, like. I don't like the whole David Ayer thing that he brought to the table.
I would have been fine with the tattoos if it just didn't have the damaged and the J on his face. If his face remained untatted, the rest of it would have been fine.
Yes, because he can put clothes on. You can put clothes and cover up the...
Joker, you can still be hired.
Yeah. David Ayer's really gone off the wagon compared to like quality of filmmaking and script writing.
He's gone back and forth to me. With like, he made Suicide Squad and then he made Fury, right?
I don't remember the order, but Fury was good.
Fury was great, and it was like
Scott Eastwood was. It beats you over the head with a hammer wrapped in nails. That war is bad.
War is hell.
Yes.
Bonk.
Yeah, it's like okay, I get it. You feel like you're the Nazi in Inglourious Basterds,
right?
In the bat scene.
That's watching that film when they're trying to like get Logan Lerman to kill the Nazi and everything. Well, not the. Yeah, this was World War II. The Nazi. Okay.
Yeah.
Took me a second. Oh, that's your feet. I thought something was moving around.
No, that was my feet.
The headphones, they like amplify. And I'm like, oh god, what's happening?
I don't put mine on.
Super hearing.
For that very reason, I don't want to hear our voices.
But it's like you really feel like you're the bad guy in the scene where they have Logan Lerman kill him and everything. It's like when you rewatch Saving Private Ryan, you hear like you learn what the Austrian people said when they were like coming out of the trenches. When they stormed Normandy and everything. And
what did they say?
I think they were like, we were like coerced into helping. We do not want to help. We hate the Germans. Please do not kill us. And then
kill them regardless.
Yeah, they kill him and they're like, oh, what'd they say? They're like, oh, please don't kill me. I'm just a scared little boy. And like they're mocking them and everything, but it's like these people pleading for their lives. It's like you get that parallel when you watch it.
Kill them regardless. The acts that they acted upon, like
I think he said they were like conscripted, like they were forced into serving and everything.
Yeah,
but
I still feel the same way about it. Like the things they've done are unredeemable,
especially with Omaha Beach, with how it went. I think,
and the fact
is it Omaha Beach? Am I saying it wrong?
D-Day. I'm not gonna make any factual claims on what happened on what days, Jim. When it comes to things like back in the 1940s,
on day of on beach of
beach of Normandy.
Normandy, that's what I've been trying to say, not Omaha.
I don't know.
Omaha Beach is something else. That's a completely different thing.
I don't know where that is exactly, but I
got Omaha Steaks on the mind.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. We just gotta keep saying it till something does.
The kill on those guys, like, they had it coming.
Right.
Even if you surrender. Then the fact that, we're going to talk about Saving Private Ryan now, the fact that the coward doesn't kill that Nazi... And then lets him go.
Lets him go, but then he like kills him at the end because he's still like he doesn't kill people. He's a writer. He's not a soldier and everything. And it's like it shows you the difference between.
It really breaks my heart to see Tom Hanks get shot like that.
It don't break my heart.
I wonder why, Jim. Speaking of Tom Hanks, have you watched the new South Park special? You watched it, right?
Yeah,
it's hilarious. that whole
the government they're using the blood of the innocent. They're having Oprah and Tom Hanks drink it. Now wait,
they're not wrong to a degree of things that they're presenting. It's just the way they're presented to us that is like kind of questionable. Because like yes, these things are real, but the perpetrators and the names at hand some of them are memes.
and then some are real.
And some are
Like
they're
the
all
Oprah one. The Oprah one's 100% a meme.
Well, they say all these celebrities. I see. I've joined some of these groups. I'm just a lurker, and I see the memes where they show the celebrities with the ankle bracelets and say, "See, these celebrities are at home arrest or whatever, house arrest." And I'm thinking to myself, no, they're rich people. These are ankle weights because they want to work out, and they just are lazy.
Do they have just one on, or do they have two?
I think I don't know. I think
Because it would be really funny if there's two on and they're like, look at them, they're under double house arrest.
Yeah, I think Ellen had two of them on, and they had like photos of her and shit. Like, what do you think she's doing? So you really think they got these people arrested for all these sex crimes?
No.
Just let them stay home?
They got Ellen for yelling at her people.
She deserves to be canceled.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Ellen.
She's a horrible person, just like James Corden is a horrible person.
Yeah, I've never really liked talk show host type people.
How dare you talk about Conan O'Brien in that manner?
Okay, there are exceptions, and I was going to say that, but you didn't let me get there, Joe. You didn't let me finish. John Oliver, I still kind of find some of his stuff funny. I come back every now and then.
He's good, yeah.
Mostly because I saw him on Community. I didn't realize he was a talk show guy. And I was just like, this guy's fucking funny. And I looked him up and I found him. But him and Conan and I think one or two others maybe are good talk show people and everything. I like them. But the rest are like, you guys are doing the same shit you've done for years. You weren't changing the game.
I feel like John Oliver and Conan, you really saw how they dug through the ruts and they worked their way up through things.
Right.
Especially Conan for so many years doing so many different things.
Yeah, I still think Conan's funny.
Yes, he's still funny.
He's being relevant. He has a podcast that he does with his assistant.
His podcast is hilarious.
I haven't listened to it. It's on my list.
Jim.
Joe, I have so many other podcasts that I'm struggling to keep up with. It's on my list to get to.
Listen to, I was going to say watch, but listen to the episode with Paul Rudd, I believe.
10010.
Yeah, there's an excerpt where they're doing I think they're doing an ad or something, and it's just them moaning. And it's the most vile thing you've ever heard, out of context, and I turn it up max, and I just listen to it sometimes.
Just sitting in your car, just...
Windows down.
In the parking lot of your apartment
complex, I can't help but laugh,
just seething in anger as you listen to it. It's going off, and your neighbor's like, "Is that the guy that lives over there?"
Oh god!
Oh my god!
Yeah, but
Conan.
Yeah.
We somehow still struggled to talk about Justice League. We dabble on it. We're here's 80 other
Can we
topics.
talk about Chaos Walking now?
We can talk about that.
All right. Well,
we still have to talk about Justice League, but we'll get back around to it.
We're not talking about that. But
we'll get back around to it.
A few months ago, we got an early screening from the producers of
Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking.
The Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, Mads Mikkelsen, and Nick Jonas film.
And
Nick Jonas, the prominent part of it. I
remember watching the trailer initially before all this, and I was like, "This looks like garbage."
This is a great YA movie.
And, then when extended the invite to you as well, I was like, all right, we'll go see it.
I'm glad that you did, because I've never seen one of these before, and I got really nervous when I was doing it, and I saw that people were talking about non-disclosure agreements. I'm quickly did mine. I'm oh fuck, I nearly forgot about that.
Yeah, I had to make sure you then we went and saw it, and watching it there's no social distancing.
No social distancing.
I'm just kidding. Well, anyways, the movie, let's get into it, Jim.
Right.
It's very homoerotic.
Very, mostly because it's a only male society. Or is it?
And they all hate women. And
fucking hate them for some reason.
There's this weird thing. I kept getting these vibes where they omitted things and they added things and they didn't complete full ideas.
Neither of us have read the book.
No.
We don't know what the original content is like and everything. We're just going off what the movie feels like.
Right.
So we're not fans of the book who are this isn't accurate to the book and everything.
But I got this whole gay rivalry with Nick Jonas
and Tom Holland.
Yeah, where they are very against each other because Tom Holland idolizes his dad and
right.
is a gay
loves
a
Mads
crush
Mikkelsen
on him.
By the way, Mads Mikkelsen being Nick Jonas' dad doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel
like they came.
Nick Jonas does not belong in this movie. There's a
His character literally means nothing, but he's such a big part of their marketing that in the quiz that we were giving afterwards,
Yes.
it included him, but never Mads Mikkelsen other than one time.
I had to write in his name.
We wrote in his name on our like surveys. We're like, I wanted more Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes. And there's a scene where they're both on a horse. Or Nick Jonas is on a horse, and Tom Holland's on the ground, and they're like talking shit to each other.
Tom Holland's sitting on like a bench, and he's like, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it.
And then he presents in his mind a phallic image of a snake striking Nick Jonas in the mouth. And it knocks Nick Jonas off the horse. That's where it went. It went to his mouth.
His face, Joe.
Yes, his mouth. It's the same thing.
You know, your mouth face.
Mouth face. And he gets knocked off the horse and everything. It's like, whatever, all upset. It's very, very, like, I see what they're doing. Very subtle. There's also a scene with Nick Jonas where he is gets the moment he's alone with Daisy Ridley in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
He goes into full-on rapist mode immediately. And luckily, Daisy Ridley can handle her own.
Right, like, had him pull out, like, he pulled out a device out of her bag.
Yeah.
And it shot off bullets.
It did some kind of
explosion. It blew up and, like, destroyed the building.
It cut the building in half.
I don't understand what the practical use of that is supposed to be, because you're supposed to be, like, gadgets. Was that supposed to be, like, a flare device or something?
Jim, you won't know until you know. These are futuristic devices. Only Daisy Ridley will know.
What the fuck does it do? Like, okay, if you ever get trapped with your bag that has an extremely small opening to open it, by the way, that really bothered me when we were watching. I'm like, the bag, it's so big, but the opening is so small.
It's stylistic. It's stylic.
It's so uncomfortably, like, uneven.
Yeah, that's what makes it nice.
Yeah. But, like, he was, like, pulling out all this stuff and everything. He's like, oh, what's this? And he, like, clicked in, like, a bunch of bullets fucking flew everywhere, destroyed the building and everything.
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley ran off, and none of the hundreds of people that were in that town saw her. She went to Tom Holland's farm.
Where his dad is played by Damien Bashir, the Spanish actor. And I was just thinking, I was like, this is his dad? And then his stepdad, I forgot who he was played by, but, like that was a good relationship.
I feel like Chuck is his name.
Chuck. Okay.
He seems like a Chuck.
Yeah, they had a nice relationship going on. They
didn't
really want to state it though. I'm really upset that like.
Yeah, I didn't understand that they were like lovers until like
they
later
went
on.
up to the lengths and extent to make it like a homoerotic society, and they won't even say that these two are like they lovers. Show them in bed together and everything.
Right, they show it, and that's like the only point. I thought this was like his uncle.
Right.
And, like, there was no woman because they all died, and it's like, oh, this is his uncle, or this is his brother, or something. It's, you know, something. He's some part of the family.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they're boyfriends or husbands, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Then you have the gay preacher with the flames and everything. That dude.
He was the only person who had a unique noise, as it's called, by the way.
Yeah.
The noise. His was unique that it literally always looked like he was on fire when he was doing it.
I hated it.
I like that.
I
didn't like
him.
that the payoff for that was that he was lit on fire and then walked off screen and died.
I hated that everyone liked it, too. Especially hearing what when they're asking the questions to the people. And
everyone
else
were
like, oh, I liked his unique noise. He had the flames and everything. It added a really good like visual thing. I was like, fuck you.
Joe is quoting word for word what I said.
Oh, that's what you said?
That's exactly what I said. I was like, I like that he had his own unique noise. The flames were nice. It was a neat touch to have him have the flames.
I was like, fuck you. I hated that guy. He was
I didn't like the character.
So annoying the whole fucking time.
No,
like,
he
was babbling nonsense. You're in fucking space and you're babbling some fucking 2,000-year-old book. Fuck you. Get out of here. You're in some fucking different galaxy, a different solar system.
You're on a completely different planet. Shut the fuck up.
Fucking spouting some bullshit from 2,000 years ago on Earth in the Middle East. I don't give a fuck. So you're telling me you got in a fucking spaceship and we're a part of this...
And the only thing you held to your mind was the fucking Bible.
You were part of this futuristic society who decided to travel to this foreign planet with your families and everything, and then you got there and heard your fucking voices in your head. Okay, I'm going to start killing women, and then I'm going to fucking spout the word of this Bible. Fuck you. And then the fact that you get the most graphic on-screen death I've ever seen.
Graphic and on-screen, Joe? He walks off screen and dies in the distance.
I'm not talking about that, Jim. I'm talking about the moment he kills Tom Holland's dog.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was one of those moments.
There's not a lot of animal... Okay, here's the thing.
I had a nickel... He's shaking the dog and holds him upside down. You see him holding the dog upside down under the water.
Watch. Oh
I don't know if it's
God.
in the...
We talked about that.
In the cut we saw, it's there. I don't know what's shown in the real movie.
We haven't seen the movie. We haven't seen the new updates and everything. We were only talking about when we saw it. He held the dog upside down and fucking drowned it.
You get to see it all. They show it all. They show the whole thing, and they don't cut away.
It was like watching the Never-Ending Story when the fucking horse drowns in like the tar. It's like watching that all over again, but it's like somehow as horrible.
It reminds me of the scene from Django Unchained, the uncut, before they cut it all out of the theaters and everything. At the first screening they ever did, where they show the dog attack. They don't cut away in the original one. And I remember watching it and seeing everyone turn away, but I watched the whole thing, and it was graphic.
Joe watched it with a smile on his face.
I did not smile, Jim. I was like, wow.
Joe was just like,
it looks so real. I couldn't believe it. But the thing is, they cut it, and I'm glad they cut it because the point was made just by the cutaways when they show the people looking each other's faces. And I think they may have cut this scene. I don't know.
I would believe it if they cut this or the scene where he like fucking kills the horse after flying it off a cliff.
That was so stupid of him. There's so many animal killings.
Tom Holland, like Daisy Ridley's riding off on like their recovered motorcycle.
Right, but
the only piece of technology
killed
on the
his own
fucking
horse.
planet. And then his horse goes flying off the cliff
he
because
did
he
it
wasn't
to
paying
himself.
attention.
He did that.
And the horse gets like all beat up. And he's like, oh. It's fucking like shanks and everything. It's just like, okay, Daisy Ridley, let's go. I want to have sex with you.
It makes sense. That's what you're supposed to do to a horse when that happens. No. But the fact is,
he's so careless about it.
He was the dumb one who did that to his own horse.
Right.
They just wanted a scene like The Revenant where he has the horse go off a cliff.
I 100% believe if that's where they
he kills a horse in front of her. Like she's really truly horrified.
Yeah, no, like fucking she turns away, like covers her mouth as we see him like fucking bring the knife down on it in the background.
The movie is I think it's presenting women don't understand the violence of men.
Yeah, that's 100% what it is. Because like the opening monologue, like when you take away like everything and you put all of a man's thoughts on the like out in there, all you'll have left is chaos walking. And it's like very fed, like, yeah, it's that little movie. You like it, huh?
Men are violent.
That's the whole point of the film.
Men of violence. That's all we are. If you break it down to the simplest thing, that's what we are. And that's what the whole theme of the movie is. Like women not being able to understand that. And living in a society where these men are in charge. We
live in a society.
Well, they start their own society on that planet. Right. And the women are immediately thrown back into the old-timey days, like the medieval times. Like that type of mindset where like, nope.
Right, like all the men put their thoughts on like out in there, and like Tom Holland is like shown to be constantly trying to keep his thoughts in line, but he can't. Also, there's aliens.
Yeah, so the alien scene, Jim, that was stupid.
it was like, oh man, I can't wait for this one-armed alien to show up again later in the movie.
I understood exactly what the point was when it was happening. But the movie didn't understand how to present it.
The alien had its own unique noise.
The alien was a peaceful creature.
Right. It was peaceful until
the alien
like,
is
being
scared
provoked.
of the human. And the only reason it attacked Tom Holland was because it knows...
It's a man that can hear its thoughts. It knows what his fucking kind did to their people.
Yeah.
I didn't believe for a second that the aliens fucking slaughtered everyone.
No,
it was way too obvious. They didn't like try to hide it at all.
I was like, okay, like Mads Mikkelsen was behind some kind of like
mass murder,
alien slaughter of like the indigenous people, like it was in the Christopher Columbus days. It was great analogies, the metaphor for those two different things. That's what I thought they were going to build to.
And then all of Daisy Ridley's people came and recolonized the planet, too.
Yeah.
There's some themes here that I didn't pick up on my first watch.
It kind of reminded me of watching... I rewatched King Kong 1976 when they go to the island and everything, they're like, oh, it's uninhabited. And then they find the native people, and they're like immediately like going to slaughter them all. Have you seen it yet?
I have not, no.
Okay.
I was editing the podcast.
There's something so grand and epic about seeing that a Dino De Laurentiis production, and it shows like the ocean and the ship and everything, and you hear the music, you're like, wow, this is gonna be something.
This is gonna be something, and then King Kong shows up, and you're like, wow, that was something.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Wow.
There's a level of like authenticity when it comes to like, okay, well, they didn't have CGI.
Right.
They didn't have the old school like techniques that they did.
Was King Kong stop motion, or was it a guy in a suit?
Guy in a suit.
Okay.
But I think they done some kind of like robotic face shit.
They had like a animatronic type face.
Yeah. And I actually really like this movie. It's dated, sure, but that's why it has a quality to it, you know?
And as you're watching, you're like, oh, it's not Kong Skull Island. Where's my helicopters in Vietnam?
It takes place in 1976.
Oh.
You have Jeff Bridges as the lead Jack.
Jeff Bridges is the lead?
Yes.
There is a guy.
And then you have...
Why haven't they brought Jeff Bridges in for one of the King Kong movies, Joe?
I don't know. That would be good.
I'm the dude, man. My friend Gary... John Goodman died to one of these skull creatures, man.
Yeah, and you have Jessica Lange as the blonde Anne Darrow, you know? She they find her shipwrecked. She's like on a floating ship boat out in the middle of nowhere, and then she immediately gets rescued by all the men on the boat. It's all guys on the boat, and it's immediately like
Chaos walking.
she is in a dangerous situation. And they actually like show that it is, and they actually have some people like, okay, everyone out of here. Then you have this creepy guy, the guy who plays Jaws from the James Bond movies. I actually met that guy twice.
Yeah.
At the Star Trek conventions back in the day.
Oh god, the Star Trek conventions. Fucking Klingons coming right at us.
Insert video.
If you have that video, send it to me. I'd love to throw it up right there.
I'll throw it up. I think we can hear you giggling in the background.
Yeah, very young Jim.
Yes.
I fell asleep in that fucking thing too when we went to it. What was that even about? I don't remember.
So, what's his face? Kevin Kline, the actor. I think he was there doing his readings of Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
He dressed in character too, which is weird.
In character of Star Trek or Edgar Allan Poe?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out why this was being done at a Star Trek convention. Is it just because he was an actor in Star Trek? Was he in Star Trek?
Maybe Next Generation?
Why was he there?
I don't know.
At a Star Trek convention. You know, like the Stormtroopers and all those people that show up, that made sense because it's like, Star Wars, Star Trek, that type of stuff. And then like Planet of the Apes guys too. But Edgar Allan Poe.
Alright. Here, I got the video.
Joe's got the video now.
Doors closed. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to observe the etiquette of proper theatrical production. What? No photography, no videography, no talking, except in response to a fantastic performer. Who? Please be sure that your cell phones are silent.
He's fucking booking it. God, that's such a great video still. The Klingon's fucking booking it down the walkway. Just holy shit, he's coming right at us.
Yeah, that was the same day I touched William Shatner.
I forget about that. I think I still have that shirt that I got, the green like crew member shirt.
Yeah.
But for some reason on the green ones, the emblem is like on the bottom of the shirt. That was always a very weird thing to me. But yeah, Chaos Walking.
Yeah, Chaos Walking. It's a mixed bag. Overall, it's if you're just gonna watch a movie, sure.
It's like one of the only movies out right now.
Yeah.
If you really want to go to a theater, sure. It's not worth the experience, in my opinion. I definitely suggest like it's a movie to watch, but I don't know if I'd say in theaters.
Yeah.
And like they were at like, what would the price range you want us to put this movie at when we put it on streaming services? What would you want us to put it at? $5 fucking. It ain't worth more than that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay fucking Disney's $30 to watch another piece of shit.
So I was on the app recently, the Disney app.
Yeah.
And I saw they call it something, whatever it's called, to watch the movies.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is that going to be like a $30 extra a month or per movie? And I was thinking, if they do this right, they release a movie every month on the app. You know,
They pull a Warner Brothers where they like on HBO they got a movie coming out every month
Well,
or 2 a month.
they
sometimes.
could do their whole price point where you have different tiers. You have the regular Disney, then you have the premium where you get the one movie a month. You know, but this product line can
I'm
only
not
go
gonna
on
lie.
so far.
If I was still in school, I would probably bully someone if they told me they had Disney Plus Premium.
Well, this product line can only go on so far until the movies theaters reopen. You know.
Right. It can only exist for so long.
Yeah, but
And with the vaccine coming out, and like with what DC has planned, it's like it's only up till the end of the year so far.
well, Warner Brothers has a perfect plan because they're
I mean,
you
Warner
can,
Brothers,
you
not
can still
DC.
see them in theaters.
Right. You can still see them in theaters, and you can see them on HBO Max.
Right.
And it's like that's only so far going up for the year.
Yeah.
And it's like they haven't announced any plans of 2022, and it's like the vaccines are coming out and everything. It's like we'll probably be like mostly good if people aren't being fuckheads again and storm another capital.
Some of the movies that are getting released, I'm gonna see them in theaters too.
Oh, 100%.
As well on that.
I'm 100% seeing Dune in theaters.
Jim, I was talking about Kong.
Oh, seeing Kong too. No, I know, but I'm talking about other things.
I don't think Dune's coming out.
No, it's coming out in 2021 in October.
2022, I think.
No, October in 2021.
Sure?
They said 2021.
That's.
Did they change it again?
I don't know.
Man, they keep throwing this movie around. It's like I just want to watch it. Just give me.
Like the Batman, you know.
Give me.
It was supposed to come out this year, Jim.
Give me Josh
Batman.
Brolin. I know.
October 5th or something.
And they robbed that from us, but it's also understandable
Oh,
because COVID.
I guess they moved the Batman and
To 2022 and
replaced the Batman with Dune
Dune.
October 1st.
give me Josh Brolin.
Okay.
Give me Oscar Isaac. Dave Bautista. Jason Momoa. Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Gimme Alexander Skarsgård.
So they did reshoots on this Chaos Walking.
Yeah, I'm curious
They
what
changed
the
the
reshoots
ending.
were.
They had to change.
Oh,
the ending.
hopefully, God, that was so fucking. Every character that died in that ending was so anticlimactic with their deaths.
We saw the reshoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no! What was the original?
I don't know exactly, but things I've heard.
I bet you the originals were like more violent deaths, and they're like, okay, we gotta make this a PG-13 rating, so only animals can die violently.
Well, I remember them saying in one of the original cuts or like screenplays, Charlie Kaufman wrote it. Yes, the Charlie Kaufman adaptation.
Oh.
Yes. Oh.
Oh.
It's
Oh my.
it's pretty mind-boggling. Like what? But basically everything he wrote is not in a movie. But there's
Was it
a
like
version.
R-rated and everything?
There's a version where I think it's so outlandishly bonkers, where you can actually.
I don't know. This one was pretty bonkers.
Well,
man.
you can hear the animals' thoughts in the books apparently.
Oh. So when he's like, "Oh, you gotta shit," all you do is just shit and eat.
Well, he's talking to the dog,
Right.
and then the dog talks to him. He can hear the dog's thoughts, you know.
So the animals
horse-
could have had thoughts,
Yes.
but
And they would have had even tragicer deaths if you could hear their thoughts.
oh, the dog.
But the
Oh no.
yes. And I think
That's pretty bad, Joe.
that would have been pretty.
That would have fucked me up if I had.
That would have fucked me up,
If I had to hear that dog's thoughts as it was drowned, I would have.
Jim.
Oh man, the horse.
Jim.
No man, I could still walk. I could still do it. No.
We can do this.
You want to make a chaos walking?
We can add in the dialogue.
Oh, we can add in. Okay, that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we'll have to take. We're gonna have to do what the book says. We can't just make up shit.
All right, you find out what the book says,
I'll-
and you get the clips, and then we'll do the dialogue. Which one do you want to be? You want to be the horse or the dog?
I'll be the horse.
All right.
I'll leave you with the toughest job of being the fucking dog.
All right. All right. We get.
Oh man, that's gonna be a
So you get the scene where the horse dies, and I get the scene where the dog is like in the river.
drowning to death.
The dog had some guts, though. It was going after him. Like,
Yeah, it was like, fuck you, Preacher.
yeah.
Preacher did not have a satisfying death.
No.
Should have died horribly. Mads Mikkelsen, yeah, kick him down the hole. I want to see him fall.
I like Mads Mikkelsen's abilities.
Right. I like that he was like this like all-powerful guy and he didn't like
Well,
really...
he's a sociopath.
Yeah,
He's
fucking just perfect.
Yeah, he understood that, like, how to manipulate people and, like, all the illusions that he was creating. I was like, okay, this is like Doctor Strange almost.
Mads Mikkelsen was the only good part of this film, may I just say.
Yes.
In, like, total.
Yeah, Daisy Ridley was good for
Daisy
what they were
Ridley's
giving
clothing did not change no matter how many different pieces of clothing she put on, no matter where she was. If she was in her pond that was coming to land, she was wearing this weird shirt that had a bunch of holes in it already before
she was
getting
playing
torn up.
like a Lulu from the Fifth Element.
Pixie girl type girl.
Yeah.
And when she got clothing from like the actual survivors and everything, it was like, oh, it's still the same clothing. It's just as revealing for some reason.
Yeah.
And then when she got to her like the ship after it landed and everything.
Oh, this reminds me. So,
Wait, what's with the fucking clothing? Give her a shirt.
Tom Hiddleston, whatever his
Tom
name?
Hiddleston?
Or
Tom Holland?
Holland.
Holland.
Okay, the Spider-Man kid.
Yeah.
So apparently he filmed a bunch of these movies around the same time, and they're finally all getting released. Like Cherry.
Yeah, Cherry's coming out.
Cherry.
I think Cherry was filmed before this because of the length of the hair.
Well,
I'm
talking about in the phase of his career,
right,
where he did a certain acting technique.
This is his Chris Hemsworth moment where he made all these movies at the same time, and then he did Thor and stuff.
Well, he did these movies, and he was under the impression where like acting guides where he had to like always reveal his arms and taking his shirt off, and did these weird.
That explains why he's stripped nude for one scene.
Yeah, he's always showing off his shirt, like he's taking off his arms and everything. Like, okay, like, what are you doing here? Like, you're like a skinny kid who has a little bit of muscle, and then the muscle is really revealing because like you're like so skinny, so like any amount of muscle like packed on it, it's gonna be like whoa. So, I hear that the new what's it called? Uncharted.
Uncharted.
Yeah. Drake's Fortune or whatever it's called.
They put a muscle suit on him?
No. He does the same horrible acting techniques, and he is very ashamed of it and doesn't already casting doubt.
I think the only thing he likes about that movie is the haircut that they gave him.
He's already trying to distance himself. Apparently.
Because they had a change. You heard about that, by the way, right? His hair thing? Oh, he loved his hair from Uncharted so much that he wanted that to be his hair for Spider-Man, but they're like, no, you gotta have nerd hair. You gotta look like a little fucking dweeb. And he's like, why can't I just have a haircut?
You can get your haircut like that outside of Spider-Man? Does he realize that? And he can walk around like that.
No, but he just
day.
wanted to keep that haircut for the movie. And they're like, no, you gotta wear a wig now. And he's like, but...
It doesn't fit the character. Spider-Man's a nerd. He's not some kind of like, adventure, like Indiana Jones-esque character.
It was just a fade.
I've seen the images.
The haircut's just like it's just like nice and cut in the back and like around the sides and everything.
Uncharted?
Like, yeah, Uncharted. Uncharted.
Tom Holland. Hair. Let's see what this shows. I see the articles you're showing me. It's hilarious.
It's like Mark Wahlberg with his fake mustache.
Oh, this?
No. Here, keep going. Yeah, there.
Okay.
Whatever he has in that picture. Because that's an actual screenshot.
Yeah, it's good that he didn't keep this in.
It just kind of looks like his normal hair, though, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't really know the difference, and I don't care.
Throw in your Spider-Man hair. Why make the third movie have, like, okay, you look like all your other movie characters?
I don't know, maybe he's on the run?
Then do the whole Cherry thing where you shave your head.
He already did that. I don't think he liked it.
With the guys who did Infinity War and Endgame. So there's apparently there's a shot sequence in that movie where they show in his anus and the doctor's looking in there, and you get the viewpoint from inside looking out of his anus at the doctor.
Joe, I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me how they are the most popular directors in the world.
Who said they're the most popular?
fucking everyone. They made Endgame and Infinity War, and everyone's like, oh, they're visionaries.
I thought they were visionaries when they did Community.
They wrote "Bank that fucks America" on one of the bank signs in the movie. Brilliant. God, I don't care for it. Chaos Walking, it's moving past it. Speaking of the Russo brothers, though, Joe, Endgame was dethroned as the #1 movie in the world.
James Cameron reigns supreme.
James Cameron supremacy has returned.
King, this belongs to you.
Avatar has now returned to the #1 highest grossing movie worldwide, and people are going to be upset about that because they're like, but it got re-released. So did Endgame.
They did that just to beat Avatar.
Right, you guys did that just to beat Avatar. Now Avatar is like, well, you know,
they released it with
China really
they
fucking
released
like us.
Endgame with an incomplete scene. The CGI not even finished.
Don't get me started on the Hulk scene,
So
because
you
it's
ha-
literally a rip-off of a Superman scene.
But
you
you
know
had
that, right?
all that money you made and spent, and you're not going to spend it to
Finish it. No.
finish the scene that you wanted to put in this movie to make money.
I brought that up and people were like, have you even seen it? No, I'm not going to go fucking watch it again. I already seen it. I don't want to watch a shitty scene. I already know what it's like. I've seen the fucking pictures. Everyone's like, that picture's taken on a phone. It's still shitty.
I've seen the scene. It's not good.
It's still shitty. And it's just copying a Superman scene from the Christopher Reeves movies.
But Jim, this is a moment of rejoice because we're back in the era of Avatar. As the sequels are coming out.
What's the chant that they do when they're like attacking the airships and everything? I haven't watched it in a while.
It came in 2009, Jim. It's been almost 20 years.
Jim,
it's been almost 20 years.
Whatever the chant they have when they're flying in, let's just pretend that we're chanting that now.
Okay.
Just I'll put in the GIF.
Wait, you were on their side? I thought we're on the side of no.
No, I'm on Cameron's side.
No. Of the characters in the movie. I thought we're on the side of Stephen Lang. The guy with the white hair and the scar.
I mean, obviously. he gets the fucking cool mech, Joe.
Right.
I'm just saying, they got the chant. He doesn't have the chant. He's got a fucking mech.
Okay.
Can't wait for him to return in the sequels.
I can't wait to look online to see if someone's selling an old, used 3D TV. I remember seeing those in Best Buy.
He would have been a good Deathstroke, by the way.
Yeah.
If not Joe Manganiello, who I'm still happy that we got, he would have been a good one.
When you say we got, I'm going to say we didn't get.
We got.
We didn't. And we never will.
We're getting it on the 18th. 5 days.
It's not a real movie, Jim. It's not.
Are you one of those people who are like, well, you know, the Flash movie's not real. It's always been said it'll be made, but what's come out about it? Concept art? No.
What I'm saying is Deathstroke in that movie's not going to be a real full sequence. He's
No.
He's not going to pay his dues or anything. He's not going to get...
He's in the nightmare sequence, Joe.
It's not real, Jim. The nightmare sequence is nonsense.
The nightmare sequence is the lead up to the sequel. That it means it's
that
real.
will not exist. Meaning the whole nightmare sequence really it's just fluff. It's just a cloud. You can see it in the sky, but yet you can fucking put your hand through it. It's not real.
You know, you're jumping at me. Calm down, Joe. You're like Tom Holland thinking of Snake. Just jumping out like just flinching at me. Among that, there's some WandaVision news too. That apparently all the Mephisto rumors did not make any sense to the writers because none of them had heard of Mephisto until they had started putting the show out and people were like, ooh, is Mephisto the bad guy? And they're like, fucking who? Had to go do their research and everything. So it was never intended for that, which sucks. But it's also so despite that they had all the build-up that would have made sense for it to be Mephisto, especially with the fucking vibe everything had and what his character does, they had no clue who he was, none of that. And they were just milking WandaVision for more views. Anything else you want to talk about?
WandaVision is a good show.
Okay. I think it's a good show. got my problems with the final 3 episodes, but
I mean, I feel like they kind of crammed a lot in.
They realized they had to actually tell a story in like the final 3 episodes, and like, shit, we don't got enough time. Let's just kind of.
But they promised us more time though.
Right, they did.
Yet they didn't give us that more time.
That 10th episode. I don't know why they didn't do 10 episodes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It should have just fucking been 10 episodes. Fuck you. You have an extra week between when it and Falcon and Winter Soldier came out. Why not just fucking put it out?
I'm not excited to see that at all. Do I have to watch that weekly, please?
We do.
I don't want to.
We do. And it's a topic that'll get us stuff, so we're gonna have to watch it to talk about it. They put out a clip. Did you see it? Where it's
I'm not watching clips of that shit.
They put out a clip between Bucky and Falcon, and it's just more of their buddy cop like butting heads.
Yeah, I've seen.
We're like, oh, do you trust me? I don't trust you because I can't trust your technology. They're super advanced people. They're part of the top 3.
Yeah.
The top 3.
What's the top 3? Android? Android something.
The top 3. All things that Tony Stark created to come kill us. Oh, wait.
No, what were
Tony Stark has had direct involvement with every fucking big bad.
And that comes down to the ego of the actor Robert Downey Jr., who framed the whole series around him on every level, that he was number 1.
I agree that he was the perfect actor who could have played Tony Stark.
Right, but like his ego, like
doesn't mean the entire genre has to be
giving
defined
a guy
by him.
that much money who has that big of a drug problem, who is that big of a fucking maniacal maniac of like ego that like drives him, is not a good idea.
I can see Joe like turning into like the fucking hunchback, just like getting lower as he talks, just as he does that.
I was
the former and the latter.
That's not at all what was happening to me, but it was never a good idea to give that guy that much money. And the fact that Iron Man 2 came around and he needed even more money, and that they gave Terrence Howard a like bigger role, so they gave him more money.
Poor Terrence.
And Robert Downey Jr. Learned of this, and he says, "No, I'm only going to do this movie if I'm getting more and more money."
Right, that was the thing with the first movie that people don't realize. They're like, "Oh, Terrence Howard got removed from the second movie because he asked for more money." No, he literally gave up more of his money, so that Robert Downey Jr. could get more pay to be in the first movie. Because that was his friend, and they were friends. And in the second movie, it's like, "Well, I want more pay again."
Yeah,
and it's like, "Well, sorry, Terrence, we can't get you. We got to get Don Cheadle now."
That guy brings nothing to the movie.
I'm gonna be honest, Don Cheadle hasn't brought a personality to War Machine.
No, not at all.
The character like went from being Tony Stark's best friend to this guy that's just there.
I feel like he is like a beaten dog who is just standing there, sitting back, and he's like, okay, whatever doesn't make my master mad at me, and he's looking at Robert Downey Jr.
That's 100% the type of vibe that like Endgame gives off when he's like interacting with like Tony Stark, and Tony Stark's like fucking freaking out at all the Avengers, and he's like, oh, okay, Tony, calm down.
I'm not here to upstage Robert Downey Jr. I don't want to upset him. I'm not going to
Sorry, Mr. Downey, I'm so sorry.
I'm not going to overact over him, because you know what he will do? He will get me removed. I'm just here to...
I will be replaced.
Yeah, he's like playing one of the people in Wandavision.
Right.
You know?
Which is a pretty funny meta commentary.
Yes.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's not good. No.
So, anyways, what else has come out or you've been watching lately?
I watched Clarice.
How was that? I haven't seen it.
Great. I love it so far.
Okay.
A new episode has just come out. It's got the guy who plays Kumar from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah?
He's in it as a detective for the FBI? Not a detective. An investigator.
Special agent?
Yeah, special agent for the FBI. They got a good round cast. One of the people from the original Silence of the Lambs movies is playing a parent to one of the characters. The daughter, who was like one of the people trapped, I think she was the lady in the hole who was like screaming for Clarice.
She's in it?
She's in it playing her own mother. And they got like a new girl playing her. And in it, not trying to spoil it. I really don't want to spoil it, so I'm just going to be very as vague as I can. But you see that her and Clarice have similar habits for how they survive after the incident.
Right.
They both turn on heavy metal and like work out in a very similar type of way where it's like they don't need to, they shouldn't, but it's because it gives them something to focus on. That with the loud noise, with the like exercising, and she kept the dog.
Oh. Wait, this takes place after Silence of
It
the
takes place right after.
Oh.
It's so good. They open it up and it's like got a recreation of the scenes and everything.
So we get the sequel that we wanted.
Yeah. You see like her killing Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Okay.
There's a lot of scenes of him from behind while like the dog's running around. He's like got the music going, and she's got these scenes with the therapist where he's like trying to constantly like get her like to admit that she's gone crazy from Buffalo Bill, and she's just fucking playing him for a fool.
And Hannibal Lecter's on the move.
Oh, they talk about him sometimes.
So
they talk about him.
Are we gonna tie this into?
Oh my God! Could we wait?
Is it possible for Mads Mikkelsen?
Put Mads Mikkelsen in some old man makeup.
And you can tie this into the Hannibal series.
Oh.
Where you get the I think this is the 4th season that we never got, and you tie that in, and you make that the sequel to both this and Clarice.
That would be amazing. If fucking they had Hannibal Lecter show up again and everything.
Yeah.
And
you don't follow the books anymore because the book's nonsense.
They it's a conspiracy so far. They're on a like big conspiracy path that's leading throughout the seasons. And it's episodes.
I'm trying to follow. I'm going through my head the series of Hannibal, and I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm thinking in my head of like, wait, we've already gone through the X of the Hannibal with directed by Ridley Scott.
I don't think Hannibal's gonna show up other than just in mentions of like you let the cannibal out and everything. Like you released him and thinking that he would help you.
They're probably gonna do something that's not in the book series at all.
It's really good. It's just really good. I'll say that. I don't want to spoil too much and everything. I want to talk about all of it, but I don't want to talk about too much. Okay. So, leaving it there, the Superman and Lois show on CW, which when saying that, it's like you think, oh, CW, so not good.
Yeah. I'm just lean back as you say all this.
It's actually genuinely, Joe, I would suggest that you watch it. It is actually really good. It's you wouldn't expect it, especially coming from CW, but it's got a very different type of tone. It doesn't feel the same. It's a show that like is dealing with the fact that Superman, like, he has to be a parent to these kids.
Yeah. After
getting laid off at the Daily Planet and everything because they can't afford to have anyone else working there. So they're slowly laying people off. He gets laid off and now he's working full time, but he discovers that one of his kids has superpowers. But it's not the one that they were hoping for. It's the one with like development problems and everything. He has social anxiety. And it's this kid who's constantly like getting just thrown around and bullied at school. And they figure out that he has super speed, he has heat vision, he has super strength, he has all these things developing. And they go talk to Jor-El, and Jor-El is like, this kid will never be what you are. And he kind of like says it to the face of the kid. And then the kid is just slowly proving more and more that he's becoming stronger than Superman even was at that age. And it's a very interesting story. And they've got this awesome suit of armor that is now gone. But it was like this awesome like Doom. Like a Doomslayer from the fucking video game type of suit that it looked like. It was a big suit and he's just fucking like hulking it out with Superman. And it's like, this is Lex Luthor from a different world. And in his world, Superman's evil. And now he's come to this one to kill Superman. And it's really cool. I like it. They have amazing costumes that they've been using. It's no longer like CW's like very gross type of textured ones. It's now these like proper superhero like muscle suit kinds and everything. And it's just really awesome. I'm glad that they're going in this direction, that they're like avoiding the past where it's like everyone wears leather and stuff.
Okay.
You know, just I suggest if you want a really good quick superhero show, you definitely should watch it. It's got a really good opening and everything. Ma Kent dies in a very horrible way to watch.
Now you have me interested.
That's about for what new stuff I've seen.
I watched Rush Hour 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Preparing for the new one?
I didn't watch the third one. So I think the second is the best.
Agreed.
On every level. Ricky Don! You know, like...
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
We do have to briefly talk about Justice League because we avoided it, Joe. It's the main focus and we avoided it.
It's not a main focus.
It was. It's the whole point. This is the build-up to Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out next week, which we will record.
We watched the movies in the series. I'm not watching Justice League.
You're not watching Zack Snyder's Justice League?
No, I'll watch that one. I'm just not watching this one.
Do you want to... I can talk about that off podcast. But, with this one, it is clearly a movie that was made by somebody else, and I know, like, you aren't a big fan of the whole process that's come from it and everything, but I'm so happy that Zack Snyder's getting his movie made, especially after, like, what the events were that led up to this. Like, what happened with his family and everything, and it's just nice that, like, I know people are upset about it.
Yeah.
They don't like that the movie's being made and everything, and they're trying to bash it early, but it's not about the fact that it's a DC movie. It's not about the fact that it's, like, rivaling Marvel and everything. It's don't think about that. Think about, like, what this man lost and then what's taken away from him when he, like, stepped away from the movie. And, like, what they wouldn't allow him to do the first time. All this stuff that they stopped him from doing. All these things. And now he has the chance to go back and fix it as much as he can with what limited
This
stuff
is the
he
moment
can.
that all the haters will get what they deserve.
Right.
Zack
You
Snyder.
get what you fucking
cut
deserve.
Exists. The Snyder Cut exists.
It exists, and it's here, and it's coming next week, and that's awesome. I'm so happy for it. I'm so happy for him, and it's been a long process and a long journey to get through, and it's here. That's amazing. And there has been speculated talk from even Grace Randolph bringing it up of a possible sequel. It's constantly on and off the table.
What'd you say?
I said Grace Randolph. That's right. I brought her up in a conversation.
Did you watch her latest interview with him?
I have not. No. I'd like to check it out though.
Oh.
I'm not a hater of Grace Randolph. I don't know why, but just some of her videos just really turned me off from wanting to watch her. That's all. I don't hate her content, though maybe me in the past might have made it seem like a hater. But no. I'm happy that she helped get us onto this road and everything by talking with Zach and everything and him being her inside informant on, like, all the DC stuff.
Yes.
It's a nice... I am sad that Ray Fisher will not be probably part of more DC content in the future because of his...
I don't feel like he brought anything.
I don't know. I think we don't believe that because we've only seen what Joss Whedon's Justice League was, which was neutering, like, what Cyborg's character was.
Right.
Among the fact that, like, fucking Joss Whedon wanted to change his skin color.
I guess.
Put a robotic penis on him. They even changed his origins in the scene where they had him, like, wearing robotic prosthetics and everything on the TV screen. They had him with a full human arm and then, like, a weird robotic arm instead of, like, when in Man vs. Superman you saw him, like, kind of posted up in the Jesus pose and everything, of course, because Zack Snyder. But posted up in the Jesus pose before all the parts began to form onto him, but he was only, like, a literal torso. His face was burned and everything, and that was awesome. And apparently we might get more of that, I think, in the Justice League. So, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to leave off.
I'm getting tired. Oh, you're yawning.
Do you have any other recommendations?
Watch Dead Ringers by David Cronenberg.
Solid.
It has Jeremy Irons in it, and there's two of them. He is the special effect. And I got a lot of...
Was that the quote from the movie? It's like, Jeremy Irons is here, and he is the special effects.
It sounds like, I don't know though. But I got a lot of Michael Fassbender vibes from him. Especially with the Alien Covenant, where there's two of them.
Yeah.
Very, very, like, strong vibes. Even down to the facial structure. Strange.
I've got another podcast recommendation, kind of piggybacking off what I did last week with the people. So the same host from the Story Break podcast show, they do a Dungeons and Dragons podcast that I listen to. Mm-hmm. That comes out every other week. Oh, you already turned off. And it's called Dungeons and Dads, and what it's about is the fact that 4 dads from our world get trapped in the I think the Unknown Realms is what they're called or something like that. But they get trapped in the D&D world and everything. They have to live by those rules, and they have to go through that to get their kids back.
Yeah.
It's this long process, and it's mostly jokes and everything, but it does get to some pretty emotional scenes where, like, the people have to confront, like, issues and everything, and it's very fun to listen to if you want, like, a good sort of comedy and drama podcast, and you like stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. That's my recommendation. It's got the same host from Story Break along with some other people like famous video game writers or comedians.
Okay.
And I think we'll be leaving it off there. So if you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts. Give us a like on YouTube. And just share us on Spotify. You know, word of mouth is always the best way to get these type of stuff around. Thank you all for listening, and have a good day. Say goodbye, Joe.
Really?